This video is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Well, hey everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Braves On Deck. We have quite a bit to discuss when it comes to the Braves starting rotation. Of course, injuries have run rampant. We all know the story over the past couple of years. We haven't even had opening day ceremonies, and we're already battling them once again. We, of course, have already spoken on the injury to Spencer Schwellenbach. Obviously, bone spurs in his elbow. It's looking like he's not going to be back until late May. So the rotation as it stands right now, you have Chris Sale at the top, followed by Spencer Strider, Grant Holmes, Reynaldo Lopez, in a big fat empty spot. That's the question. Who's going to be in that fifth spot in the rotation? But before we talk about that, I also wanted to mention I am very concerned about the guys that are penciled in this rotation right now. Those top four guys, all of which have injury history. Chris Sale, of course, a little bit further back in his career, but has certainly battled injuries over his time, miraculously being healthy throughout his Braves tenure for the most part. That said, Spencer Strider, coming off UCL damage a couple of seasons ago, now, of course, didn't have his best stuff in 25, looks poised to have a great 26, but you're taking a 50-50 shot on that, in my opinion. It's not a guarantee, and of course, it's going to take time for anyone to come off of UCL damage and perform to their best ability, and I'm curious to see how that's going to go this year. You also have two guys that are coming off of injury that, frankly, we have not seen pitch competitively since they were injured last year, in Grant Holmes and Reynaldo Lopez. I think both of those guys are solid, but I have to be honest with you, Grant Holmes, for sure, to me, is better served as a long reliever. Or a reliever in general, because I love the fact that you can pull him out of the pen and use him as needed and save your other reliever arms. I think that's a great addition to the team, but the Braves view him as a starter, at least for the time being. It's fine, but I don't love it. And the other reason I don't love it is because, of course, they're both coming off of injuries. Something that has given me a bit of encouragement, Lindsey Crosby with Braves Today, good friend of mine, is reporting that Grant Holmes is touching 95 miles per hour. That is encouraging. Reynaldo Lopez is sitting in the low 90s. But I have to be honest, I'm not so much concerned about where their velocity is. I'm more concerned about their overall durability. And if that's not there, then I don't know where we go from here. The other concern, of course, is the fifth spot in the rotation. Who's that going to be? Well, for that, we need to look at who do we have in the organization right now. Obviously, that would have been Spencer Schwellenbach. We have now gone to this. Here's the list of guys currently within the organization that I believe have the best shot of potentially getting that fifth spot. A.J. Smith-Shawver would be a terrific pick for this spot, but he is coming off of Tommy John last season, still kind of in recovery. I don't think it'll be opening day. Could be later in the season, but I don't think it'll be opening day. The most likely candidate is the guy at the top of here, Bryce Elder, who we are all very familiar with. You either love him or you hate him. He is out of options, which is why I do believe that if they go within the organization, it will most likely be Bryce Elder. Because he's out of options, the Braves are not going to want to DFA him. They're not going to want to lose him. They're going to try to get him a roster spot any way they can, whether that be in the pen or whether that be in the rotation, which, to be honest with you, it makes the most sense to put him in the rotation. If he can eat innings for you, you might as well let him. But I'm not in love with that, and I'm sure many of you out there aren't either. I would much prefer to have Bryce Elder be the guy that we pull up here and there and we use as a spot starter, but that's not the case. A.J. Smith-Shawver is hurt, Hurston Waldrep is hurt, and of course Spencer Schwellenbach is the biggest one that is down. I don't love this any more than you do, but that is who I think is most likely going to be the guy. Of course, there's a few other guys that will compete in spring training, and you never know. Someone might really have a terrific spring training, and they may carry that into opening day and beyond. You never know, but most likely I think it will be Bryce Elder. Moving on, we do have some free agents that are still available. There's a bunch that are available. You see them on your screen right now. I've highlighted a couple for you. That I think are more likely than any of the others. There's some names on here that I should mention. Tony Gonsolin, Walker Buehler, Max Scherzer, which has been quite a bit of clickbait here lately. I don't think any of those guys make a ton of sense. The guys that I do like on this list, you see kind of near the top, Zach Littell and Lucas Giolito. Littell kind of tops the list. He's got the best WAR out of everybody on this list. Giolito, though, the reason I like that one, not near as expensive as a Zach Gallen would have been. Also, there's no qualifying offer penalty. You don't lose any draft picks, and I believe that's the case too with Zach Littell. I like it, but we'll have to see where we go from here. The more I look at this situation, the more I look at the guys within the organization, the more I think we're going to go outside the organization. I again think Zach Littell and Lucas Giolito make the most sense when it comes to the free agent market.
Big things are happening at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Chevy Silverado and Traverse are ready for your driveway. Drive home today a full-size powerhouse Chevy Silverado with up to $13,000 off. Or get a loaded Traverse, the roomy Chevy SUV with third-row seating, and enjoy up to $6,500 off.
Buy today and you won't pay till May.
Smart people from all over the USA buy from Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Online 24/7 at glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
Last week, I thought that it should have been Zach Gallen or Chris Bassett. Obviously, that didn't go as we'd hoped. But I feel like even more now after the Schwellenbach news, after the Waldrep news, you've got to shore up the rotation. You cannot trust this to someone that we currently have, in my opinion. So where do we go from here? I wanted a top-tier arm. I wanted the Braves to go out and get a Zach Gallen. That would have been ideal, right? Remember a few years ago, everybody wanted us to get Dylan Cease. I wanted a move similar to that. I wanted a move that was going to be, yep, that's our guy. That makes all the sense in the world. Ideally, it would have been Chris Sale, Strider, Gallen, Schwellenbach, and Lopez. Well, obviously, with Schwellenbach out, that kind of goes here and there. But that strengthens our pen by adding Grant Holmes back to the bullpen and really strengthens the pen and adds length to the pen that we otherwise don't really have. Atlanta and the front office clearly don't view it that way. They say they do. They say they want a top of the arm or top tier arm, but they haven't really gone after that, at least in free agency. And we don't know everything. I firmly believe that Alex Anthopoulos is doing everything he possibly can do to get a starting pitcher. I'm just wondering how that's going to happen at this point.
Again, our focus has been on guys we think can slot towards the top, whether that's trade or signing and so on. That's not to take anything away from the guys that have been out there and signed, and some guys are going to go have great years, but for us it was who are they going to knock out of the rotation, and again, that's why when Schwellenbach was healthy, we were like, okay, well, if Grant Holmes is potentially our fifth and we're going to knock someone out, it better be someone we think could be a front of the rotation type. But right now with those four, we think those guys are all capable of being really good starters. I mean, those top three have had a lot of success, and Grant was doing a really good job last year before he got hurt. So, in terms of close and things like that, until things are done, you don't know. But we've definitely, had a lot of conversations throughout the winter.
If you're looking for a 4 or 5 guy, you can get a Giolito. You can get a Zach Littell, and they'll fit in nicely into that Schwellenbach, 3 or 4 caliber, fit. And then when you get Schwellenbach back, you have a really strong rotation where you keep Lopez in as your 5th guy and you move Holmes to the pen. I like that a lot, if that is how this goes. But to me, at the rate we're going, I think it's more likely we're either going to sign one of those 2 guys or we're going to go to the trade market. I don't see any other way this goes. In my opinion, that's where we're headed. I think... And when it comes to trades, it's a lot easier to look at a free agent list and go, okay, who makes sense for the Braves here? I just picked them out very quickly, Zach Littell or Lucas Giolito. That makes all the sense in the world, and they're right there on paper for you to see. When it comes to trades, it's a little more difficult. We can always theorize. We can always say, oh, I'd love the Braves to go trade with the Marlins and get Edward Cabrera. That would be great, right? I saw somebody pitch that this morning. But when it comes to someone like that, are the Marlins going to trade with the Braves? Are they going to trade a young star, especially to the Braves? I don't think so. That said, could they? Sure. But we never really know. That's all behind closed doors, right? And when it comes to AA, a lot of times you don't know until it happens. And that's where I think we're headed. If we go the free agency route, I would expect Zach Littell or I would expect Lucas Giolito. If we go the trade market route, your guess is as good as mine. I would love to see us go get a top-tier starter, but right now I want us to go get a starter that's going to shore up the rotation and ensure that we have a healthy rotation for the first couple of months of the season until we do get Schwellenbach back, or we do get a Hurston Waldrep back, or we do get an A.J. Smith-Shawver back. Because right now, I'm very concerned about the health of our rotation. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Of course, let me know who's a guy you want to go get. Maybe I'll do a video on it if you have a suggestion or a trade proposal that we could look at. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments below. Of course, like the video if you would, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. You guys are the reason we do it. And we, of course, really appreciate your support. With that out of the way, guys, we're going to keep you updated all throughout spring training, all the way, hopefully, to the World Series. So let me know, again, down in the comments what you think. And, of course, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you later here at On Deck.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.